Another beautiful day here at my fire pit. I love to sit here. This is where it's happening. You know what I'm saying? Just want to thank you for leaving all these comments about coffee and tea. I learned a lot. People like it certain way, the tea or the coffee, cold or hot. And I talked to somebody today, and he actually said, I like hot coffee just black, but I like it with ice, with all kinds of with sugar and cream in it. So there's no right and wrong. I think you just need to do what works for you. And so, but I want to encourage you to maybe try something new once in a while. I had this weekend for the first time, I think, a lavender coffee. Yes, lavender. I know. It was awesome. I can recommend it. You know, we had a wedding here, and there was a couple that had a coffee bar. It was phenomenal. I can highly recommend it. Try it. So, saying all of this, because we're talking about coffee or feedback of coffee and tea, and I still want to go back to Italy in the European Cup, even though I know it's been a while. But hey, World Cup is coming up. It's already, the countdown is on, because the World Cup, the Football World Cup, is next year. And Italy is one of the main contenders of that tournament because they just won the European Championship. So saying to you, to illustrate to you how big, how important football is in Italy, here's a story. I mean, it's huge. It's huge, okay? Italy, just saying, has four World Cup titles that they hold, 2 European Championship titles. They're in the top of the cream of the crop, next to Germany, who holds 4 World Cup titles and 3 European Championship titles, and then on top of that is Brazil with 5 World Cup titles. So who knows who's going to win next year? But to illustrate this, so here's a story. I rang a guy up, I think about 2 or 3 years ago, when there was the last World Cup was happening, and it turned out he was Italian, and I just said, "Hey, what happened? What happened, man? Italy didn't even qualify for the World Cup. That's unheard of. It's embarrassing. It's a shame. It's like, what just happened? That never happened." And he was very cool. You know, he was like, don't worry about it. Forget about it. We won 4 times. It's okay. Let somebody else win. Let somebody else win. We got it. We'll do it next time. And I thought that's a pretty cool attitude. And his wife came up as well to the register, and I talked to her, same thing. And then she took me aside and said, "Yeah, you might look very cool now, but actually, when it happened, when they didn't qualify, he was so mad. He was beating the wall." It's a lot of emotions. Emozione, going on. It's very important. Football is super important in Italy, and they're very good. And good for them. But next to that, I think what's something amazing about Italy, next to the coffee that we already talked about, and here's a little story to that. My friend went to Italy for the first time and had a coffee. He wanted a coffee. He's like, "Give me a coffee." So they gave him an espresso. That's what they do, little shots. And he's like, "What is this? I want a coffee. Like, fill it up." And they're like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah." He wished he wouldn't have asked, because this stuff is strong, man. I don't think he slept, because that's why they do little shots. So next to that, it's food. Food is very important in Italy. And they have, in my opinion, they have the most amazing food in the world. I think, for me, pizza, pasta, it's comfort food. It's such good food. And I remember a story when Corinne was studying in Vercelli, that's near Milano. Her maestro in the morning would not ask, "Hey, did you practice?" When she used to sing. "Did you practice?" No, he didn't ask that. He's the first thing he would ask is say, "Hai mangiata?" Did you eat? That's how important food is in Italy. And I remember when I was a bachelor, that's probably all I ate was pasta. I think that's the only thing I knew how to cook. I'm much better now, but I still love to make pasta, make my own sauce, and I enjoy it. And also being in Italy, I spent many summers there, like 2 weeks at a time. My parents would take us, all 4 of us, in a Chevy, packed up like sardines, the 4 of us. There was no minivans at that time. They took us to Italy, 8-hour drive. It was horrible. Like now it probably would be different, but I remember. But I had great memories being there in Tuscany or Toscana, 2 weeks at a time every year. fresh food. I mean, you have the onions, you have the tomatoes. It's just a whole different taste about it. And you have some places you go and eat in the back room. There's a nonna or a mama cooking up the food, and it's just paradise. So pasta is still one of my favorite things from Italy and that I eat. And also, Switzerland has an Italian part. Yeah, Italian is one of the 4 official languages of Switzerland. And maybe you want to shoot a comment, and Swiss friends, don't give it away. What do you think are the other 3 official languages in Switzerland? And English is not one of them. So shoot me a comment. Ask, find out what it is. Let me know. Then what else? Oh yeah, my dad spoke Italian, and he hired a lot of Italians, for his construction business. He was a contractor. So I grew up around this. It's very common. We have a lot of 2nd and 3rd generation Italians in Switzerland. So it's very common. It's very comforting for me. And maybe the best thing about this, which maybe you didn't know, is that my second name is Guido. Yes, Thomas Guido Seckinger, son of Guido Gustav Seckinger. Yes, I'm a Guido. So now it's out. You know it. I'm proud of it. Just saying. For those who don't know what that means around here in Jersey, ask somebody. But I'm a Guido. And you know now one. So that's a cool thing. And maybe the last thing I say about Italy is that, my mother-in-law was convinced that I have Italian blood in me. Maybe it's because I speak with my hands a lot. I don't know. Maybe it's because of my middle name, Guido. She eventually was pleased that Corinne's sister married an Italian, so she has her Italian son-in-law, but I'm not Italian. And it would be okay if I had Italian blood in me, because I think I have a connection there, right? But they speak a lot with their hands, and to illustrate that, so when there was the final in overtime, they took a break, and there was a lot of commotion, verbal expressions with the body. The whole body language is there when they speak, and Trixie was like turning to us like, what are they doing? What's going on? And Corinne has explained to Trixie, well, they're just having a conversation. That's how they talk, with the hands, whatever. And and then Corinne said to Trixie, Trixie, you know what this is? And Trixie says, I have no idea. That's a dead Italian. I'll leave it with that. I think it's great. Italy won the European Championship. I hope they have a great shot next year. We'll find out. So stay tuned. Shoot me a comment. What do you think the official languages of Switzerland are next to Italian? And again, English is not one of them. Thanks for watching. And again, this is my perspective. That's how I see it. Bye-bye.